We've been pretty deeply in schools and in communities for quite a while, and we see what everybody reads about.
Yeah.
Students are facing real challenges, loneliness, depression, disconnection, information gaps, anxiety, just needing the benefit, as we call it, of an additional adult in their lives. So that's our mission, and that's what we're here to help with.
Audio Jungle. Hello and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzarella with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing in the community. Speaking of which, my guest this week, Mr. Steve Parker with Harraseeket Foundation. Steve, welcome.
Hi. Thank you. Really happy to be here.
It is wonderful to have you on the show. I believe we had you on the show back before we were podcasting.
A lot of activities ago, many students
so much has
ago.
happened. That's why we needed to get you back here. So
Right.
This is fantastic. Share with everybody a conversation. So much has happened. So let's talk and let's kind of jump into it. But for those few people that may not know who's Harraseeket Foundation, I know Steve Parker, Harraseeket. He's been all over this area, Herndon area, Reston area, McLean. You've been around for like 7 years. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Harraseeket Foundation.
So we're a nonprofit. By the way, 3 E's, 2 R's, and 1 S.
Right.
No difficulty spelling. We're a Virginia nonprofit. We have been around for a bit. We started in McLean, went to Arlington, and then to Herndon about 1.5 years ago. Basically, what we do is we help young people imagine their future. And the way we do it is we encourage Northern Virginia community organizations that want to provide employment or anything, any kind of organization. They can be faith community, it could be a club, it could be a nonprofit, and we want them to offer work experiences, mentoring, all kinds of things. It's a powerful combination, and we've learned that over the years, and we found that by offering it widely to students and getting a lot of support for it, it makes a difference. And I think it's worth emphasizing right at the top, Angela, we've been pretty deeply in schools and in communities for quite a while, and we see what everybody reads about.
Yeah.
Students are facing real challenges, loneliness, depression, disconnection, information gaps, anxiety, just needing the benefit, as we call it, of an additional adult in their lives. So that's our mission, and that's what we're here to help with.
I got to ask the question because I know it's deeply rooted in your history. Is like, why did you start it though? I mean, it didn't just stem from, out in the air, right? There's a reason behind it. And I think that passion really drives what you do.
Yeah, and my co-founders all suffered from the same thing. Wasn't economically advantaged, but I was advantaged in every other way.
Yeah.
Parents who cared about education, motivated, supported, still didn't get the connection to adults that I should have. Drifted through my teen years and my 20s and made some stupid choices, lived unintentionally, and regretted it. And so what we wanted to do is to just lower the thresholds to community organizations supporting young people by making it easier for them to do it. And that's what we've been doing. And we find people want to help. They just need help figuring out how to help.
All right. So there you go. Let's get into now let's just talk about what you do, because you're making a huge impact. You're making great strides. So what is it that you're actually doing?
So our business model is a little unique. The way I think of it now, is I've used this a lot lately, is we think of these schools as these buildings, these boxes. The kids are in them the entire time they're there. They graduate, and maybe they're lucky they can put off reality by going to college or something, but otherwise they really struggle because they haven't had the opportunity to think through what they do after they're finished with their education. So we think of Harraseeket as a door, and it's a door to let the community in, and it's a door to let the community help them understand what their possibilities are, open their eyes, give them confidence, give them the information they need. And the door goes both ways, right? The door also allows students to go out into the community and get to know you, find out what it's like to be a plumber or an IT professional or a lawyer or whatever it is that you're interested in. So that's what we try to do, is to facilitate the door going both ways.
And I like your approach. It's been very focused, right? So you're focused in certain areas. So where right now are you having the biggest impact?
We're spending a lot of time in Herndon. I mentioned we were in McLean. We went into public schools at Wakefield High School 4 years ago during the pandemic. It's a school much like the school we're in now, Herndon High School, which is very diverse, 70% minority, 52% free and reduced lunch, great kids. but really needing benefit of additional adult in their lives. And we came in through a partnership with Fairfax County Public Schools. We're so-called Ignite partner. And they asked us to start in Herndon with the expectation that we would go countywide. And we want to stay in Herndon for a while. Our learning curve is really steep. And we started about a year and a half ago. We've done a lot of things there. We've impacted just about every student in the school. There's 2,400 students. We've had a couple of fairs. We've had 150, 200 employers in the building over the last year and a half. Dozens of workshops involving hundreds of students, a couple of dozen, maybe 4 or 5 dozen work experiences, one-on-one conversations, and all kinds of stuff. But numbers are numbers. I'll tell you what we're more proud of, honestly, is I guess you call it the soft factors.
The what?
Schools, the soft factors, the
Soft
intangibles.
factors, yeah.
The school staff energized. They really feel supported. They see Harraseeket volunteers, employers coming in and out of the building. We're energetic. We're talking about the future. They see us engaging the kids. They've been feeling isolated the last couple of years, as you might imagine. And they're really into what we're doing. The employers, we've talked to hundreds of employers, as you might imagine. They want to help. And when they have the experience with the students, they're energized. They really care deeply, not just as a social thing, but because it helps their businesses. They like young people in their businesses. It energizes the staff. And then, of course, the students. So many stories. Just, can I tell you 2 quick ones?
Yeah, a couple. Real quick before that, though, how are you reaching these organizations? Are you just calling them, emailing?
Email, Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you.
It's honestly, the Chamber has been wonderful to us, but we use as many different contacts as we possibly can. Honestly, viral marketing has helped. Once people get involved, they pass the word about what they want to do, because people do want to help. We have an advisory committee in Herndon. We're very proud of it. You can see it on our website, harraseeketfoundation.org. Just about every piece of Herndon, and they're out getting the word out, because we want local employers, not just the Amazons and the Capital ones, but really the local mom and pop shops, local mentors. We want a booster club for why sports teams have booster clubs, bands have booster clubs. Why shouldn't our program have booster clubs? We involve the communities. Schools are community assets. So we get the word out every which way we can.
Great. I just want to make sure those are watching. It really is. I mean, it is a lot of labor that you guys are reaching out, but it's working. So, grassroots stuff. But yeah, a couple of success stories. I'd love to hear those.
They're just small stories, but they're huge.
We always talk about this. We just talked about this, and I think it's too small.
It's like the one a couple of weeks ago in a mentoring session with a young woman. At first, I thought she was super shy, and after a few minutes, I figured out she didn't speak very good English.
Okay.
And 5 minutes into it, I got her smiling. That was a big accomplishment. 10 minutes in, she was laughing, and 15 minutes in, we were working on helping her practice for her interview for an internship.
Oh, great.
And that was a big deal. Another one, a guy named Jazeel, who I saw on Monday as part of an internship fair. They just finished their spring internships. His father is a cabbie, immigrant, first generation. When he was a little boy, he saw the shuttle come in on the back of a 747. Remember they used to do that?
I do,
He's like, oh my God, this is my life. This is what I want to do. He just finished an internship at an aerospace company. And he was showing me 3D designs that I couldn't possibly understand. But he was just so excited, and he got it through this program. He's going to take over the world. But I mean, this is somebody who's amazing. Really, really changed his life.
What do they typically do? Sorry, I just getting a little bit back. Don't these kids always do what they want to get into? Are they not aware of it? Or are they doing what their friends are doing? They're doing what their parents are telling them to get into, or their teachers?
I'll just say, just in my own story, just so clueless. I mean, the information gap. Some kids, they know how to find things, but most kids really don't understand what they need. We talked to a student the other day who wanted to go to George Mason so he could do HVAC. Well, maybe they don't have HVAC at George Mason, or kids who think they can't go to college because they can't afford it when they can, because there's so many resources available. Kids who think they want to go to college but don't understand that if they got a certificate or an apprenticeship, they could make a lot more money in a trade, which is what they really want to do. Kids that just who don't have their eyes open because they don't have the connections and opportunities that mentors offer them and work experiences offer them. You get into the workplace, you start talking to people, right? You find out, what does it take to be a doctor or a nurse? What does it take to be an IT person or to work in a data center? And you find out there's so many things that you never thought about. And no, most kids don't understand that. I mean, you really need that kind of access, and you need that confidence too. Somebody to help guide you, somebody to lead the way.
So I love the success stories, and those are great to hear and learn about. And I know you've got 10,000 more behind you. I guess let's go into maybe what are some of the challenges that you're facing so that we can try to get those watching to get involved more and see how we can help.
Yeah, the lessons and the challenges are real. By far, the biggest one is, and I found this as all 7 years we've been doing this, is a lot of times the students who most need the help aren't necessarily ready to accept it or don't realize what it could do for them. And you can push them, but ultimately what we've discovered is the best way to do it is to show them and to do it virally
Right.
and have their friends see it. So we started this program that's starting this fall called Imagining Your Future. We're starting with a very small core group, and the intention is for them to have mentors throughout the year, work experiences throughout the year with the curriculum. And we've said to them, we want you to be our ambassadors. And what we've done, by the way, Angela, is kind of cool, I think, for the way we've identified them. People say, what kinds of students are you looking for? And when we went out looking for this group, for example, we didn't go out and say we're looking for kids who are poor or racial minority or whatever. We went to every coach, teacher, and counselor in the school. And we basically said, we have this program. Recommend to us the students that you think would most benefit from an additional adult in their lives. Non-judgmental, trained, caring adult who would guide them through a series of at-work experiences over the year. And we asked them to write recommendations. And some of the recommendations just about these kids make you cry. I mean, we got dozens of recommendations from a ton of teachers and counselors and coaches. Then we went to those students who were recommended and asked the students to apply. And they wrote essays. They had to answer surveys. They had to be interviewed. And some of the stuff they wrote is amazing. And everybody got it. I mean, they got it. Might be a privileged kid who's really suffering from dramatic blocks to being able to, really engage the world. It could be just a wide variety of students, but we're looking for the students that we can most impact. And so that technique has helped. But that's probably the biggest challenge by far. There are others. Scaling is a big challenge. We're a small nonprofit. We've literally touched every student in the school. But if we're going to mentor and support 2,000 students at Herndon High School, let alone every school in the county, or go back and do this in McLean and other places like Herndon, that's a significant scaling problem. So, these are things that they're first world problems, if you will. We've shown some success, but we need to, figure out how to do that and how to do it well.
Yeah, it's not just funding. I mean, money is good, but it's
Yeah,
resources.
it starts with engagement, and really our goal here is to generate an atmosphere in Northern Virginia, which frankly is happening. We call it widespread, consistent, dependable involvement by a lot of employers, community organizations, individuals, doing everything: mentoring, volunteering, offering at-work experiences. But we need other things as well. We need a lot more coordination in the schools. One of the great challenges is the burden that is put on school staff. And the thing about partners like us is they can add to the workload of staff. So what we try to do is reduce their workload by being there to help them and make it easier. But if we scale, we're going to need a lot more of that. We need a lot more resources. We'll come back to that in a minute, but resources are a big thing. But I'll tell you, the thing that I think is the most important part of the success here, which is where I think we're making an impact, is to make sure the students know that we know we're there for them, that we care, that staff knows we care, that we are trying to raise awareness, that we give the employers a variety of different ways to engage. What we found in talking to all these employers is different people want to do different things, right? Some want to provide mentoring, that's fine. Some want to provide at-work experiences. Maybe it's a field trip, maybe it's shadowing, maybe it's informational interviews, maybe it's an internship or a summer job. Some want to volunteer, some want to donate. We'll take any of those things. So our motto is, we'll come talk to you. Talk to us about how you want to engage. What excites you about supporting these students, and we'll help you do it. And to me, that's probably the best thing that we do is to create that conduit for people who care.
Who are you finding that is like raising their hand to help do the mentoring piece of it?
Boy, we're not having any problems finding mentors, honestly, but we still need mentors, because what we need is as many different kinds of mentors as possible.
And don't you
Mentors with
put
a
them
wide
through, is
variety
there
of
like
backgrounds.
like some sort of training? Like, do you ever follow a particular
We do.
curriculum? So
No,
okay.
we do. There are different kinds of mentoring. So a lot of what we've done so far is what we call small group mentoring, where
Uh-huh.
people come in and they work with them on workshops on resume writing and networking and interviewing and
Yep.
all the things that you do. That doesn't require a lot of training for a lot of people. That they have a pretty good sense of that. We certainly provide guidance and support. For one-on-one mentoring, that's a more significant commitment. And for the Imagining Your Future program, for example, that I just mentioned, that's a year-long commitment, twice a month, once in person, once virtual, take you through Fairfax County Public School training, screening, and vetting. And then Harraseeket provides initial ongoing training, because we want our mentors to be, really good at knowing what's available to kids. What are the work experience
Yep.
opportunities?
Right,
What are the
right.
after school? What are volunteering opportunities? How does that impact your life? What are school financing options? Not that the mentors have to be experts, obviously, but they just have to know, how to get access to that. So when I say we don't have any problems recruiting mentors, we still need mentors, because we need different kinds of mentors for different kinds of students. So people might sign up, and at some point we will tap you. And it might be for different programs. And what we found is the better variety and options of mentors, the better the experience for the students. Also, I might be a primary, or you might be a primary mentor for a student, but our job is to also introduce that student to other people.
Right.
So if you're looking for an airline pilot, my job as a mentor, if a student wants to be an airline pilot, is to find an airline pilot and help them spend some time together. So
Well, that's part of
we
the
need
folks that
that.
are watching are going to be most business folks. Either they have their own business or they work for a company in the, in the Northern Virginia general area. So that's why I'm trying to understand how we can best provide, opportunities for them, depending upon where they're at. People, like you said, they may not have the time to put into that mentorship. They might have $1 or two. And, what other resources can we help you to get through those challenges that you're facing?
By the way, a lot of these smaller businesses are the kinds of businesses that students want to work in. They're interested in
Yeah.
entrepreneurialism. They're interested in learning all the things that a small business has to do, whether it's everything from bookkeeping to technology support to marketing and sales to, everything. And we found a number of businesses in the Herndon area have been great for that. We've also found volunteering options for a variety of ways. We have career panels. We have opportunities to come into the school and talk to the kids in these small groups. Um, and donations, yes. There are a couple of ways to donate. One dominant way to do it is through the Fairfax County Public Schools nonprofit called Educate Fairfax, and you can do directed giving. So, and Harraseeket spends 10% of our operating budget on Educate Fairfax, and we direct it to our programs. So we fund staff stipends, teacher stipends, we fund food programs and things like that. We also have a program that we spend directly ourselves to support internships, unpaid internships for students who have economic barriers to internships. Most of these kids, by the way, especially the kids that we're helping, they have jobs. They're working at McDonald's or whatever, which is great. But the benefit of an unpaid internship is that you get experience that you wouldn't otherwise get, that
Right.
would open your eyes to things that you might not do. So we provide stipends to make it easier. Sometimes we provide transportation support. So we use Educate Fairfax for that, but also funding us directly helps us support those kinds of programs. And for us to scale, we need staff support. We need the capacity for technology outreach and a lot of other things that funding can do.
One of the things that I could open up with is to congratulate you on the winning the Chambers Education Foundation Inspire Bizmaker grant last year. So let me ask you, I mean, there was a lot that went into that application and what you shared, and you really touched a lot, not just the hearts of the people that were on that committee, but also very much what you were doing and how you're impacting locally. So
Yep.
how did that funding, because there was a connection to a case manager and you had some mentoring
Yes.
yourself. How was that program helpful to Harraseeket, especially it was about a year ago now?
It's been incredible, and we're so grateful for it. It really, in some ways, it turbocharged us. And I may have shared this with you, and if I didn't, I should have. There's a couple of examples of what that grant did. Since the beginning, we're a small nonprofit, and we've often used faith, to invest when we didn't have the resources. You're just like, okay, I'm just going to do it. And we've done that a couple of times this year. We're overspending our budget right now. And the reason we're doing it is grants like this Inkspire grant. We were asked about 2 months ago, we have significant financial needs this fall to take these Imagining Your Future kids to field trips and to fun events, for which we have to rent buses and get insurance and do the logistics and buy food and so forth. Yeah. We don't have the funds for that. We were asked if Harraseeket would support it, and I said, of course we will. Because of something like, the Inkspire grant is the kind of thing that causes an organization like us to have that confidence. And in terms of mentoring ourselves, we are a mentoring organization. We've had such great mentoring, thanks to the grant, thanks to the Reston Chamber. Great people who want this mission to succeed and who believe in the students. I said this already, schools are a community asset. Yeah. And the chamber understands that deeply. And I think what we get to do is we have the privilege of just, being the gatekeeper, if you will, or if you don't mind, I'm going to use a nautical analogy. We think of the employers and volunteers as kind of the engines for change for students. Mm-hmm. And nonprofits, small ones like us, we're the rudder. We're just there to help steer the ship, to help take that ship and transport students to places that they haven't imagined. So we're a facilitator, we're not the driver. And the amount of energy and support within the chamber and within the business community is significant. So our challenge is to figure out how to marshal that and how to organize it and collect it. I want to just say something about the staff at the school as well, because I think that's a resource point. One of the things that we also fund, as I mentioned, are stipends for teachers. We want to expand that significantly. We want to fund a coordinator in the school. We desperately, we can coordinate some as volunteers outside, mm-hmm. but you need people in the school, people who can deal with the students, shuttle them from class to class, tell them about meetings, things like that. So we fund stipends, but we need to fund a lot more of that. And the example I would use is the woman who is our main coordinator right now, a woman named Stephanie Stewart, who's a force of nature. And she believes in the students. The woman works 24 hours a day. I get emails from her all the time at 3:00 in the morning. And if we had 20 Stephanie Stewarts, we would be so far ahead. So we need the resources to find those people and support them and create more opportunities. Because our job, right, is just to inspire people to do the kinds of things that we're facilitating right now. Because you get stories like the Juziels and the Carmelitas, the first woman, and you walk out and you just think, I think I changed a life today. And the opportunity to do that is enormous.
And that's what it's about to do. And I almost gonna make you cry. I could tell. We had this conversation. It is all about the why. No, it is all about the why and just kind of impacting that one student and changing the life. But Steve, I just want to thank you for being here again and giving us the update and sharing. And I'll probably have you back real soon because you are making strides and impacts pretty impactfully. So, and of course, anything that the chamber and the community and our organization can do for you, please don't hesitate, because it is all about those connections and people genuinely want to help. Yes, it's the students, it's the workforce, but
I want to add one thing about that as you talk about, this appearance, and that is, this is a journey that is hard to predict when you do this work. It's hard work. It's discouraging sometimes. It's never what you want it to be, but then you look back and say, wow, it is something significant. And what we did last year is different from what we're doing now. And I'm positive that what we're doing next year is going to be different again. But in each case, if I'll tell you a quick story, one I just heard about John Quincy Adams, who kept introducing legislation in Congress to abolish slavery, and he kept failing. This is when he was a congressman. Somebody said, why do you keep doing it? And he said, the duty is ours. The result is up to the deity, to God. And, we just Our job is to just do what we can do and find out what the results are going to be. And watching this community react is honestly, Angela, not something I anticipated. It isn't. I thought we do good things, but I didn't expect this kind of impact. So I'm looking forward to seeing what next year looks like.
Well, thank you. And yes, and we'll make sure people spell Harraseeket properly and they can find you on, so everything's on the
Two R's
website.
and 1 S.
Yeah, I still lost you. So
you are going to put it on the screen, right?
We absolutely are going to put it on the screen.
Thank you.
Yeah, people will reach out to you, and definitely reach out to Steve if you have any questions or want to learn more how to get involved, obviously. Steve, again, thank you for being here. Did we leave anything out? We good for now?
Well, I'm sure you did, but we covered what we needed to.
There's so much we could have been on the show for another hour and a half at least, especially the way we chat and the way you tell stories. So, hey, well, I think we did pretty well. Anyway, great seeing you. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Angela. Appreciate it so much.
And, again, this is fairly new for us. The Chamber's got our podcast, so subscribe, like, do all the things you're supposed to do with a podcast. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Steve. I'll get another click on our channel. So anyway, thank you for being here. Look forward to seeing you next time.
My pleasure. Thanks again.
Stay in touch with us for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.
Audio Jungle.